Hello and welcome to Pub and Fig. In this video I'm going to go over everything you need to know before you watch Agatha all along. These will be the only movies and shows I will reference, so there will be no spoilers from the trailers nor the marketing. Out of those, Agatha Harkness has only been in one of them, that being the WandaVision series. Within Wanda's sitcom-y world, we were introduced to Agatha as Agnes, the unassuming comedic relief neighbor. As the series progressed, Agnes became more and more suspicious, as if she was self-aware about the reality she was in.
Should we just take it from the top?
In the third last episode of the series, the mask comes off and we get the reveal that she's actually a witch who has been going along with and messing up everything the whole time, all while Agatha All Along the song is playing in the background. We get her flashback in the beginning of the next episode, revealing that witches do exist within the MCU, but that she also drained the magic from her coven, killing them in the process, including her own mother. As she takes Wanda down her own memory lane, Agatha realizes that Wanda is no ordinary witch, but the Scarlet Witch. But I'll get into that stuff in a little bit. Agatha tries to drain Wanda of her chaos magic, her justification for all this magic and life-suckening being,
They take power from the undeserving.
but Wanda outsmarts her, resulting in Agatha being depowered and, arguably much worse, being trapped inside her Agnes persona. This is the last we have seen of Agatha Harkness, but in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Wanda sacrifices herself at the very end, making us wonder whether or not Agatha is free from her mental prison. With all the story elements out of the way, let's get into what we know about magic in the MCU. Now, if you want a much broader and more thorough analysis into this topic, I do cover most of it in my Before You Watch Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness video, as I go into each color and type there. But for the sake of Agatha, I think all we need is orange, blue, purple, and red. Orange magic, or sorcery, has been our go-to for magic within the MCU. Not our first instance of magic, since the Asgardians would have that award, but our most popular form and general basis at the very least. Introduced to us in the first Doctor Strange movie, its main characteristics are the need of a sling ring and imbuing magic into items. The sling ring is a small item that accesses and uses energy from the universe and other dimensions. While the Ancient One says the language of the mystic arts are spells, I don't think any words have ever been needed for the sling rings to work. But if there has been an instance before, please let me know in the comments below because nothing is coming to mind. As for magic-imbued artifacts, while we have never seen the enchanting process, we have seen a handful of items long afterward, the popular example being the Cloak of Levitation, but there's Mordo's Boots, the Cauldron of the Cosmos, and many more. Then there's blue magic, or what we can only assume is witchcraft. The only instance we have seen this in are the WandaVision flashbacks with Agatha's old coven, so hopefully we get to explore it much more in this series. As for what we can assume about it, there is more of a vocal element to the spells for witchcraft and sorcery, and there is an emphasis on runes. Agatha nullifies Wanda's powers in her basement by casting specific runes that only allow the caster to use his or her magic, and this is what Wanda exploits later to defeat Agatha. As for what else makes witchcraft stand out, there also seems to be an emphasis on the need of a coven, but that will become apparent in a moment. Following Agatha, she started with blue witchcraft before diving into purple magic, which is dark magic. And to keep it very brief, purple magic is always seen as evil and either causes or reflects corruption in some way, but I have a comprehensive list of examples in that Multiverse of Madness video if you want to see more. For our purposes here, Agatha uses dark magic as a twisted extension of her witchcraft. And finally, we have red magic, or chaos magic. Chaos magic seems to be holistically an offshoot of witchcraft, in contrast to dark magic being an extension of any magic it seems, but it is still very distinct, especially since the only person who can wield chaos magic is the Scarlet Witch, which is Wanda. As for what makes the Scarlet Witch and chaos magic intimidating, I'll let Agatha explain.
The Scarlet Witch is not born, she is forged. She has no coven, no need for incantation. Your power exceeds that of the Sorcerer Supreme. It's your destiny to destroy the world.
So, no verbal component is needed for spells. The power of chaos magic exceeds that of the Sorcerer Supreme, which Doctor Strange was during Avengers Infinity War, and he pulled out a lot of tricks. But this is where we find that significance of having a coven. The Scarlet Witch needs no coven because she is so powerful on her own, but this kind of implies that standard witches may need a coven in order to bolster their collective power. The book Agatha reads from is the Darkhold, which is not only a guide for how to use dark and chaos magics, but itself is imbued with them. Where Agatha even got it, we don't know, but it passes from her to Wanda and then to Strange, who destroys it, but not before cursing him as well. As for the rest of the mystical side of the MCU, I feel like I should bring Werewolf by Night into the conversation. This Marvel special establishes a different side of the mysticism department that we have not really seen before nor since, such as confirming monsters like werewolves, bat creatures, and many more exist, informing us about guilds and hunters that secretly deal with said monsters, and more magic items like the Bloodstone. There is also a Man-Thing, or Ted, who has multiversal implications in the comics, but I'm just saying this in the 0.5% chance that he shows up in this series. That's about it for Werewolf by Night, just thought I should finally talk about it. And yes, I prefer the black and white over the colorized version, same with It's a Wonderful Life. As for what I think are some good loose ends to keep in mind, whether or not they'll be relevant, I'm kinda guessing not, but I think there are important things to keep in mind regardless. Keeping in line with the mystical and magical department, there was Mordo from the first Doctor Strange movie, and the last time we saw him was in the post-credit scene where he begins taking magic away from other magic users, believing there are too many sorcerers. If he shows up here, then he has widened his pursuits towards witches as well, or other sorcerers just happen to be involved. And no, I'm not including this alternate universe Mordo, he does not count. Honing back to WandaVision, Director Hayward is interesting because he lets it slip that he may know a thing or two about magic and witchcraft since he believed Wanda could bring Vision back to life even before she does anything in Westview. So I feel like they were trying to set up something with this awkward exchange. Speaking of Vision, we still have not seen White Vision since he flew through that ceiling and left, so maybe, just maybe, we'll see him again. But probably not. For my final loose end, and the one that I actually think is important, is that Agatha was scared when Wanda donned herself in the Scarlet Witch outfit.
You don't know what you've done.
She even says it again before being turned into Agnes.
You have no idea what you've unleashed.
Which tells me this may be a beacon towards other witches and covens since we didn't really get a consequence in Multiverse of Madness. If you agree or disagree with anything I said or think that I summed this video up in a nice pretty bow, then feel free to let me know in the comment section down below or by giving this video a like. It would be a great help to those who may actually need this video and, the whole algorithm and everything. Big thank you to those who subscribed after I put out the Deadpool and Wolverine before you watch. But if you are not subscribed yet and want to see more videos just like this, then feel free to, and if you want to be a part of a greater community, there is the Pub and Fig Discord server open to all. Anyway, that is all. Sayonara.